These create a deep dimensionality to the watch. But if you're half serious about the hobby, you cannot deny that this is at the very least off-putting. Some may even view it as downright deceptive. Recently, a local viewer here in Aruba had the guts and the bravery to send in one of their watches for us to review. But I'm happy to report that this watch is not in this household anymore. It's safely away from my wife's clutches and it's back to its owner in one piece. Or should I say, many pieces. This video is brought to you by Enora. The watch collecting culture is a deep and multi-nuanced social avenue of horology that I am severely underqualified to eloquently educate you on. Let me illustrate it in 3 levels. For weather-beaten surf and turf lovers like us, it is worth the look if a watch is under the $500 mark. Anything approaching the $2,000 and you leave it up to the entry-level bar brawlers. But then, there's the upper-class fleet admirals that owns the so-called haute horologies and eyepieces. Those are the 3 types of watch fans that this brand is trying to cater to with this one collection. Tsar Bomba, a mid-tier watch brand named after a destructive device, took many of the features of a hype watch and applied it in a constructive way. They designed these to look like they could be worn by the big boys who are often wearing these often obnoxious and loud watches. However, because of their equally obnoxious and loud lifestyle, they tend to get away with it. Because absurdity is drowned out by even more absurdity after all. And now these great features are offered to the 2 lower classes at a very reasonable price. This sounds attractive and even innovative. However, Tsar Bomba had to resort to some obnoxious means to achieve this desired effect. It's a secret so divisive that it could actually drive away some potential customers. This TB8218 offers one of the widest range of readily available parts on a microbrand watch. We should still consider them as a microbrand given that their operation and notoriety has not yet been mainstream. With watch features like these though and this kind of timepiece, it's only a matter of time until they reach critical mass in popularity. Allow me to justify that overstatement. On average, a Zelos watch will set you back $400. Buy 3 pieces from this microbrand powerhouse and you've already crossed the $1,000 mark with a solid 3 watch collection. For about the same price, you can get this whole combo set that would yield you 2,400 unique combinations just from the strap and bezel alone. I bought a GShock more expensive than this set, and this set undoubtedly has that GShock feel, as the Japanese brand is famously known for their bezel and strap swapping. Now, Tsar Bomba is trying to weaponize this for the microbrand market. But unlike many GShock parts, these components offered by the TB8218 has a premium impression and feel to it. In fact, they are using practically the same strap material that's used on a Richard Mille. But that's saying more about RM than anything else though. From here, it may seem so easy to mix and match these parts together. But then again, it really is. The crown is loosely screwed in, the straps will come off with a push of a button from underneath, and the bezel is disengaged by simultaneously pressing the crown and the sign button on the other side of the case. You're literally buying a full collection for a price of 2 automatic Tissot PRXs. With that said, this watch caters to all 3 watch fan types, the microbrand boys, the entry-level crowd, and even the producer Michael types. You can even get another module and custom choose the pieces you want on their website. However, this is not the first microbrand that tried to offer that RM impression to the commoners like us. Tsar Bomba chose the slimmer type of RM to replicate though. Beside this piece from Alto 8, the difference in profile volume is clearly apparent. It uses about the same automatic module as these are chosen more for their value rather than an area to write or talk about. They also use the same kind of soft molded rubber with adequately signed buckles to complete their impersonation of the hype watch. On the legibility side, you could argue that Alto 8's dial is a bit more readable. But really, both watches were never really marketed for practicality nor functionality in the first place. Up close, there is a sheer overwhelming amount of detail on the dial that becomes the showpiece of the design. From here though, if you're perceptive enough, you can work out this watch's secret that it doesn't want you to take notice. They would love you to put your attention on the bezel and strap, and even down to the buckle that has its own release mechanism. Remember, this set has a rose gold and black IP coated hardware as well. The level of finishing on some of the buttons are very admirable. It all snaps into place nicely and works with the design. The crown is a great point of interest with all of its angular grooves. This is a multifunctional crown that works on tandem with the side button. The crown sleeve is secured only by the threading inside that goes along with the winding direction and remarkably stays in place all the time. It may take some practice to unscrew the sleeve though. Pressing both the crown and side buttons will unclamp the bezel, and it's secured with only 2 rounded clips. The bezel snaps into place with a satisfying click. What's also satisfying is the amount of light play that you get. All of the gears in the dial are radial finish, breathing a seeming life to each gear. These, along with the chamfered bridges, create a deep dimensionality to the watch. This comes at a great cost though. These gears are just for show. A facade meant to hide the very plain movement behind it. Those with a passing knowledge of watches won't mind these features at all. But if you're half serious about the hobby, you cannot deny that this is at the very least off-putting. Some may even view it as downright deceptive. But here's the thing, if you could step back and tell yourself that watches are visual accessories anyway, then this thing is such a fun watch to own. It's really not dissimilar to Legos, where the fun is in building and showing off rather than in creating something that's of any use. And that's neither right or wrong. It's just how you wear your watches. Sure, you can always wish that those gears were actually functional. But then again, why not wish for a Rolls Royce or an actual RM while you're at it? As a watch pirate that has thrown away every sense of social respect when I stereotype guys who own high pieces as possessing an obnoxious demeanor, I have an unwarranted advice. Obviously, you can always man up, and you don't have to be that obnoxious. And neither should you spend ridiculous money on one of those high pieces. Then the TV 8218 might be a reasonable wish that could actually come true. And that is the Tsar Bomba, brought to you by Mr. Rob. It was very nice, and it's a high quality fun piece that we had for the past few days, and even the guys in the office were having a blast seeing me wear that Tsar Bomba. Thank you once again to Mr. Rob, and hopefully we'll see more of his watches in the channel.